So different kind of video today. I am having this red oak tree taken down. This is the third one of these big huge red oaks we've had taken out that probably all were the same age, and they've reached their lifespan and they start rotting in the middle. This one is real rotten in the middle. You can see, I don't know if you can see that, but you can see all the way through from one side to the other. And then it got hit by lightning only a couple months ago after we decided to take it out. So I think it's really mostly on my neighbor's property. If he's the kind of guy, he'll never do anything. It'll fall on his house and he'll put some blue tarps on the roof and it won't bother him at all. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, he's a super guy, but he just don't care about stuff like this. So my wife and I said, we'll just get it taken down. Hired a tree company, they're coming. This is not an inexpensive deal to take it down, haul it off, and grind the stump kind of flush with the ground. So I'm gonna do a little video. It'll be different. This company does not have a crane. Most of the companies that quoted it either own or would rent a crane, but he's gonna do it with this little arbor lift, this little man basket. So it takes him a little longer, but that's just the way he likes to do things. So this is an Arbor Pro 72. It'll get 72 feet tall. And the miraculous thing is, when the tracks are sucked in and the outrigger swung to the front, it'll go through a 3-foot gate. Amazing. This machine is specially designed to get into backyards, basically. First 2 branches to hit the ground. And we're off. That tree is really in bad shape. They're kind of worried about it. So they're going to take off as much weight as they can gradually. Should get stronger and stronger. This is the first tree cutter guy that I've seen around here that actually has his harness on and he's tied off. But that's giving me a good feeling. So the tree guy is cutting everything into little pieces. And outside in, and his helpers, 2 brothers, they're making a pile. I'm assuming that is because they have a skid steer in their trailer, so they're probably going to make big piles and pick it up with this skid steer. They got to haul it all off. It's going to be double loads. Now it looks like he's rigging up to cut some bigger branches and lower them down with a rope. They got an anchor point on the trunk. He's got a little choker up there with a shiny thing on it. So I'm sure it's to let the rope slide through without breaking. That's what it looks like they're going to do. Start cutting bigger limbs. Alright, first limb down with the rope, and I totally missed it. Sitting there watching, didn't turn on the camera. There should be many more to film just like that. This is a bizarre little man lift. I've seen a million different kind of man lifts in my day, but I've never seen one quite like this. The tracks are really small. He has to get all the way in, all the way scoped in before he can move. But he just did that. He's moving ahead a little bit. So the guy on the ground is running it through his little Malay bracket. And the guy up in the basket is moving, babe. Just rigged it. So he's getting ready to cut the branch and then lower them to the ground and not let them fall. They're too big. We got power lines and stuff. Yep. There we go. This is the first cut where they added another line, a tag line. And I think the goal is to keep from smashing up my magnolia tree, which is right below them. I think it's just after it gets down low, they can pull it to the side. Let's see. Getting close. Talking to each other.
cutting a notch on the bottom of the branch so it'll break off cleanly. He's doing it one-handed. Pretty amazing.
Ooh, they're kind of getting in the magnolia tree. I know he don't mean to. Has a medium-sized saw that he holds with one hand pretty much all day long. He must have a hell of a grip. He's got a bigger saw up there too, but he doesn't use it very often. Puts a notch on the bottom of the limb, and then he saws the top, and then down it comes. And because the belay guy has that rope wrapped around that stainless steel thing several times, you don't have to worry about getting his hand yanked off when it starts to fall. It takes it yanked though. Maybe that's why they got the big guy on the belay rope. They also use the skid steer to move the pile around, so they don't have to use the rope. They just let the pieces fall. Not have to worry about him breaking the driveway. He's still on his little saw, and that's a pretty big branch. That's 12-inch probably. But I have a little saw and a big saw, and I can see why he wants to use the little saw. It's a lot easier. Oh, kind of missed that one. Still not on the ground. Must have fallen the wrong way. You can't let it go the other way, it'll be on the neighbor's fence. Look at him. He uses his body size to his advantage. And that was his big saw. Probably do this one more time with the big saw. They took the skid steer, pushed all the branches and stuff up into a pile so they can drop these big logs without having to mess with the rope. They just let them fall into a pile. Boom. Those are heavy chunks of wood too. There's a big huge burrow right there. I'm hoping he'll cut it for me.
I've noticed that as he moves around the tree with the lift, he takes the time to remove all the little branches because they hang up the rope and they're really irritating. So he takes his time and gets the branches as clean as he can. So yesterday, everything you cut was at your level or lower. Now, it's over your head. It makes it harder, huh?
Well,
branches.
The hardest part is the limb going out over the roof over here. Yeah, This ain't gonna be the best. This
But we're gonna be able to get it. We just have to tag line it back across the fence.
Clearing the spot to get the little man lift a little closer. He didn't get much on that grab. So in order to get his man lift where he wants it, he's going to grind his little stumps real quick. With his big stump grinder that I would love to have for a weekend in the country. That's not going to happen. Extended the ram out as far as it would go. So then he sucked it in and he backed the truck up. And now he'll start grinding and extending that ram out again. Inch at a time. So there was a bunch of gnarly roots that were sticking up above the grade, and he didn't want to try to track over those, so that's what he ground down, and that's part of his job anyways, to grind a stump. And now they're taking the loader and kind of pushing the dirt, and he's going to try to get his man lift as close to the fence as he can, because he's got a long reach to get those branches. So today another brother is in the basket, and apparently he has the ability to climb. But the owner was in the basket yesterday, is on the ground with the remote control, and he is operating the man basket. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe the guy in the basket is not as experienced, but the owner's operating with a little remote that's hanging from his shoulder, like Nintendo. So he's pulled up two lines. One will be to hold the weight of the branch as it falls, just like yesterday. The other one is what they call a tag line. And so they can pull the branch out from over the fence as it gets closer to the ground. And keep from destroying the fence. The red one will hold the branch. The other one will be a tag line. They're both rated at 13,000 pounds braking strength. Very neat crew. They're constantly picking up twigs and blowing concrete and straightening and throwing stuff on the pile. They're well trained. They're well coordinated bunch. I'm pretty impressed, actually. Everything from the man basket on out is directly over my neighbor's house. And they managed to get them all on the ground without even dropping really a twig on the roof of the neighbor's house. So it was pretty impressive. So we got another guy here running the chainsaw with one hand. I guess they just do that. And cut the big branch. The rope held it. The tag line, they pull it to the side. They bring it to the ground, and a lot of them they have to kind of cut on the way down, because if they lay them flat, they're going to either flop over against my neighbor's fence or flop over against his house. So they get where the bottom is a few feet off the ground, and they start whacking away, and then they just gradually lower it. The big guy is controlling the lowering. He's got that fancy stainless steel apparatus that makes it kind of easy. drops it won't get him. I think that's what he's doing. That's a big old branch. That definitely smashed this one down. You got teamwork between the guy lowering the branch and the guys on the ground pulling it. Make it look easy. Might have been the highest branch on the whole tree. Hard to tell.
So about 4 or 5 years ago, we cut down a very similar red oak right here. This is a little bit of the roots left. Everything else is rotted away. It was hit by lightning and died like instantly. And then 2 years ago, cut this one down, sister tree, same size. I didn't get the stump grinded because I'm cheap and it didn't matter to me. And now we're see, it was rotten on the inside, and now the one on the other side of the driveway is rotten on the inside. So it's coming down. These are like 5 or 6 grand a pop.
And the one that's left, sister tree, they're probably all planted at the same time. They were all the same size. It's on its declining years. It's dropping lots of branches. It's over my house, some of them. But these people are not going to cut it. They're a pain in the rear. So we'll just deal with it. If it falls on the house, we'll just make an insurance claim, I guess. I don't think there's anything up there that will destroy my house unless the whole tree falls over. And then last year, this is a pecan tree. It was hit by lightning. It blew bark all over the yard, and you could follow the trail all the way to the top. So I made arrangements to get this one cut down, and it never died. Pretty strange. So I guess it will come down one day, but luckily it doesn't have branches over any structure. So yeah, I don't know how long pecan trees last, but this thing's pretty big. And of course, it's never made one single pecan that I know of. Just a pretty tree. So I've lost count, but here goes another big one. Down it comes.
This is the interesting little belay contraption that allows the guy on the ground to handle those huge amount of weights with just a light pull on the rope. It's not a homemade deal, it's store-bought stainless steel. It's smooth so it doesn't chafe the ropes. And just from experience, the guy on the ground knows how many wraps to take, and he ends up, yeah, it's pretty cool. You can feed it. You see he's feeding this big old huge hunk of wood just with one hand. It's a cool invention. This is the first one that didn't make it to the ground. It got hung up on one of the other stumps, and it was stuck pretty good. He had to lower down, put the man basket there and carve it up in little pieces, and it finally freed itself up. I was trying to get a close-up of the line feeding through this little contraption, but they got over the service entrance to the house next door, so they kind of put it on pause for a little while until they can figure out what to do. But anyway, cool little contraption. It looks like they were very careful to keep the man lift away from the falling branches. It's strong enough to hold up a guy, at his full height, but I don't think it could take much abuse. It's the scantlings are pretty marginal looking. Now with the big branch hanging upside down, he's able to clear some of the branches that he just physically couldn't reach when it was up high. It makes it possible to lower it on the ground and handle it a little safer, a little easier.
All the bushy branches. Bet he's going to just start whacking them and letting them drop after this, but we'll see.
So tying these lines, the tag line and the holding line, and moving the little bracket takes a long time, and then get it back up there for the next log. But they're not comfortable chunking these logs from this height. Something might bounce, something might go into the man lift. So yeah, I'm impressed with these guys taking their time and doing things probably a little more safer than I would be doing it if I was in the same boat, but I'm not. So okay.
No answer.
So these are all the branches and logs that came down in the neighbor's yard. They cut them and threw them over the fence. And now he's taking them and moving them to make the big pile bigger, because this is the cushion to catch the big heavy timbers that are coming from the trunk, and in an effort to keep from breaking my driveway, because they definitely have some concrete breakers coming down in the near future. This is a little contraption that they would wrap around some stationary point, run their rope through there. And it's nice and smooth, so when the rope yanks, it doesn't do damage to the rope, and the rope slips through there pretty easy. Kind of cool. There's a smaller version of the same thing. And here is a snatch block, which is the same thing, but you can open this side. You can't open the side of that. You have to fish the end of the rope through it. This one you can open it, I'm not sure how. Fish the rope through the side, just a little bit more easier. Not nearly as robust as this thing though. All the debris is stacked up like a big green mattress. They've moved the man lift back to safer distance in case something bounces. And he's got the big saw, the 36-inch saw, and he's getting ready to cut some of these big chunks. He's cutting a notch just like you would if you were trying to fall a tree on the ground to make sure it goes in the right direction. So he's cutting his second big notch with the big saw, and he's getting instructions from the ground because he can't see around the tree. The tree's so dang big. He's getting these things cut amazingly well, considering how big that dang saw is. pretty piece of wood. They took the loader and they moved some of the big logs off the top of the pile so that the trunk would not hit them and bounce and roll. And they took some big logs and put them where he's standing on logs, otherwise he'd be 3 feet lower than he is. He's cutting his notch. He didn't reach all the way, so it left a little nugget on the far side, and that would have made the trunk not fall where he wanted it. It would have pivoted over that chunk. So he got out his little saw and went around the other side and cleaned it up, make sure the trunk fell in the direction he wanted it to fall.
A little bit. Skid steer tied to the top of the trunk. He's got a big notch on this side. He's having trouble with the big saw on the back side. He doesn't have enough to stand on, so he just swapped out the big saw for a little baby saw to get that last little bit. Hopefully. Back up. Not cut all the way, but they're pulling on it hard. Oh, and I just heard a crack. It's coming. It's coming. I don't want to get hit by a flying piece of something. That's it. The big log is down. Main trunk is on the ground, and that's where the rot started, and it's going to go all the way down in there. I can't reach, but it's all opened up. Chainsaw mill would be nice. It's a pretty piece of wood, but that's a lot of work. Hard to believe, but that big old tree is right there in that little pile. Well, it's not a little pile, it's a big pile. And they're gonna start putting it in the trailer. So the skid steer guy is getting ready to load the truck. He separated that big huge log. Probably he wants it on top to smash all the little ones down. So he grabbed the load and he's waiting for the saw guys. They'll trim the ends so it can fit in the truck without making a big old mess. So it's loading out time. They're putting all the heavy stuff to the side. It obviously will go on top. They got a log stuck in the bucket right now, like stuck really bad. They'll get it fixed. And they got the big trunk cut up into little pieces. So they're gonna load out their 2 trailers and call it a day. Tomorrow they'll finish cutting and grind the stump, clean up the mess. So it looks like they got the first trailer loaded down pretty well. And they are now loading the second trailer. Well, they got all the heavy stuff out. There's no way they're gonna get it all in that trailer. They're gonna be back tomorrow. 2 empty trailers.
Here John is cutting what is left of the stump into smaller manageable pieces. He's using a big saw and he's cutting a lot of air because there's not much wood inside that tree. It just goes around it like a can opener. I thought this was interesting. He's still cutting on the back and the front has slid over like 3/4 of an inch, like this tree had some built-in tension in it. Well, this is why the tree needed to come down. It's like a hobbit house in there. No telling how many raccoons and possums have made their home in there over the years. But he's almost got it cut all the way around, and then I guess it's time for the stump grinder.
all the wood is gone in the truck. They're hauling it to the dump as we speak. The owner's staying here, and he's gonna start grinding. Gonna be a big old pile of mulch.
The grinding has started. I didn't get much footage. I don't know why, but it took him a long time. He was doing this for a couple hours. And then at the end, I had to leave. I don't usually like to leave when contractors are working, but he didn't disappoint me. When I got home, everything was good. So there was a very big tree here, and now there's not.